It's all you,
All right.
Mike.
Welcome to listening to Paint Dry, the live stream. Thank you so much for joining us. We're still a podcast about the art and hobby of miniature painting. I'm Mike.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Dev. And we are
Yeah,
back
and
once
today,
again for our weekly show.
right, it's kind of crazy. We've actually successfully done this 3 weeks in a row. It's ridiculous.
Well, we've done it 3 weeks in a row. I
Um,
don't know if we're successful at it yet.
We've
well,
attempted it 3 weeks in a row. Something is out there on the internet for every one of those 3 weeks.
Yes.
exactly. We have 3 weeks worth of content that we have put out. That's amazing for us. So today's show, it's going to be. I mean, we're as we're working through this, we're adding a little bit more format here and there. Um, we are going to jump back to ReaperCon really quickly to cover a couple of things that Dev wanted to cover, and then um, talk about some of the stuff we're working on, and then we're going to throw Dan to the fire and make him talk about the NovaOpen. So that'll be fun, and it was it seemed to be a great time. The little bit of time I got to spend there was pretty awesome. Um, so kind of enjoyed that a great deal. But Dev, why don't we start with you, and you can talk about your ReaperCon entries that you did not talk
Yeah,
about last week.
I know. With everything else that was happening, I did talk at least about our awards at the MSP Open this year, doing the Juniors Awards, which obviously we're very excited about. I completely forgot to talk about the things that I'd entered. So I'd entered a few pieces into a couple different categories. But the two main entries that I had were Angelica Fairweather Bust, which I've been working on for a good chunk of this year, which was the piece that was judged, and it did okay. I got a silver for it, which was a little disappointing. I'd hoped for a little bit better, but got that. And then the kind of the surprise for me was I did a um, Rabbit Ranger from Dark Sword Miniatures, and entered that in with a fairly snazzy green to yellow kind of fade cloak, and that piece actually got me third place in the category. So I was pretty stoked about that. Big thank you to Jim Ludwig for sponsoring all of those awards, and for being, I think, such a great presence in the Reaper convention in general every year. So yeah, I had a great time with that. But yeah, let's move it on and talk about the thing that I missed because I was at Reaper, Nova.
Well, I thought we were whatchamacalliting, we were gonna do some work in progress stuff.
We could do work in progress. Yeah,
Cool. Cool.
it's
All
going to be
right.
super
So,
short.
well, I'll start us out, and let me see how see if this will work. I am going to share my screen and see if this works okay. All right. Can you see?
Dan's got to hit watch stream. So you've got a Roman Legionnaire, looks like.
Well, specifically, this is Odysseus. It's from Labyrinth Models. I sized it up a little bit, so it's like right around 54 millimeters. And I've had a few hours to play with this. I really enjoyed the model, and I'm gonna have to enter this into a competition because I did break the sword hand off. So that's kind of my MO. But I really like. I don't know, just the aesthetic of this model really um, spoke to me. So, and I feel like I'm doing an okay. I've got a good start on the non-metallic gold. Still got a long ways to go, a lot of colors to add to it and everything, but I feel like I've kind of got the basic colors started out, and um, I block out all the colors on a miniature. Like I base coat every area because I have a hard time visualizing how things interact. And so like this, I think I've spent maybe 5 hours on Odysseus. And it's been a lot of fun, and I like the idea for the base. The base is hard to explain. It's simple, but it's basically a platform with some marble tile and some Greek writing around it. Simple in a sense, but it'll be. I hope it'll turn out really nice. It'll complement him. The next thing is, so I'm teaching a uh, private workshop for 3 hours to a Dungeons and Dragons group. And this is Rogar the Red from Daybreak Miniatures. This is the mini that the guy who is running it wanted to
What's the name of that
wanted to
company
use.
again?
Daybreak Miniatures.
Daybreak. Okay.
Yeah, I print a lot of stuff. If you remember the Golden King on a Horse, that's a Daybreak mini as well that I entered. I entered at Richmond, and then also it was at the NCMS show. Um, so, but I love the aesthetic. I thought this was a pretty cool model. So, but what I decided to do was test myself. Where could I get in 3 hours, in a hard 3 hours? And this is as far as I got. And as we spoke about last week, I know that we're not gonna paint for 3 hours. It's not possible. But my goal is to increase the amount of painting, decrease the amount of talking in the class. So um, we'll see how it goes. But I thought he turned out. He's pretty good. I actually, one of the things I really like. I feel like the strangely enough, the belt buckle turned out really well for true metallic metals for me. Um, I got a lot of work to do on true metallic metal. Well, the whole journey, true metallic, non-metallic, coming out pretty well. But I thought, he turned out okay. And this is about, they wanted a little bit of bigger mini, so it's 54 millimeters in size. And so, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to teach that class. The last one is, we talked about this guy a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to show the freehand work on him a little more. This is Arston Whitebeard, speaking of Darksword miniatures. He is actually Barrister Selmy. Um, but in the books, he spends more time kind of investigating Daenerys before he joins her, and he goes undercover as Arston Whitebeard. Uh, and so this is, I think the wheat looks like wheat, kind of. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It definitely looks like grains of wheat to me. Yeah,
Right.
I think
Thank
it
you.
looks great. Yeah.
I'll send the check later.
Are
And then this is a front pic of him. Uh,
you going to
that
start
came. And,
introducing some shading and highlights to the grains of corn, the ears of corn? Like make it look like
oh yeah,
it's
yeah. This
gold.
is actually this is an older picture of it. He's actually done. I realized I hadn't take. Yeah, I went through and added some shading to give it some dimension. Um, but that's yeah, I think that's it for me. Oh no, and this is a finished project as well. I had started this. I got this at the second ReaperCon I went to, so 2022, and then I painted on it like right away, and I got about 80% of it done, and I brought it with me last year to ReaperCon to paint and to finish to paint and to enter, and then the tail and all this stuff got jacked up, and I was able to fix it. I spent some time and fix it, um, courtesy of my TSA debacle, and then add the panes, the three art panes behind it. I mean, it turned out pretty okay. I like it. The base actually got is a little boring to me. It's a little, I don't know. But it's all the stuff in it is like they're coffee stirrers. So like the flooring is like cut out with coffee stirrers, and then I made the staff and the nunchucks of wood from dowel rods and such, and so and then the whatchamacallit, of course the backdrop, the wall is also not toothpicks, coffee stirrers, and I did paint I should have got a picture of the mountains, which is right behind the cat. And so this is the Purisan monk from Kana Miniatures. So that was fun to paint. It was different for me. I don't paint things that kind of look animated. Um, and I haven't done a ton of anthropomorphic stuff. So, but that's what I've been working on. But I'm finally, I've been finally glad. I've been trying to go back to some of the older projects that are sitting there that are so close to being done that I just kind of stopped working on, just to kind of knock them out and you know get some sense of accomplishment. And that's kind of, I tell myself it's really funny when I don't, um, when I'm struggling or I'm having like painter's block and stuff, that I keep a wave of things that are like between 80 and 90% done. So that way I can try to feel like I have something accomplished by finishing those things up. Um, but yeah, no, so this girl turned out pretty nicely, and it was fun to finish for the NCMS show. But that's it for me as far as what I got
On
going
that
on.
vein, is the figure judging in sort of NCMS and IPMS kind of shows in your area done in a similar style to no
No. Well, NCMSS is more like the European slash um closer
gaming?
to NovaOpen and
Right.
ReaperCon style.
Interesting.
It is open. It's an open system.
Hmm.
IPMS in our area is not. Both the Richmond Old Dominion
Yeah.
Open and the Fairfax Show are uh
Podium.
what do you call them?
Podium.
Podium. There we go. I
Yeah.
was like thinking platform, but podium 1, 2, 3. Um,
Is the assessment of miniatures in a similar vein? Like, do they look for kind of shading and contrast, and do they consider artistic expression at all, or is it very much like, we're focused on build quality, on quality of the paint finish, on like smooth coats and things like that?
So NCMSS, yes, absolutely, it's closer to that, and we're not as worried about. Um, in the historical category, they do have some they will ask some historical questions, but it's not hardcore. It's not like, well, those color buttons are wrong, therefore this model's disqualified. That doesn't happen. But the so at the NCMSS show, National Capital Model Soldier Society show, is much more in the vein of artistic. Dan and I actually were the two of the main judges for the science fiction and fantasy category. We had a gentleman, I can't remember his name, help us do one set, and then there's painters and open, and then Aaron Simmons helped us judge one category as well. So um, that's more artistic. It is leaning that way at IPMS shows, but here's the funny thing: the reason why is because at Richmond and at Fairfax, they bring us in to judge figures, right? So I can't speak to the ordnance
Okay.
side or the vehicle side or any of
Right.
that, but they ask us. One of our main people is the head judge for figures, and so we judge a lot of the figure stuff. So
Interesting.
we don't judge like historical accuracy and stuff. We judge on contrast and painting technical skills, narrative. Um, ability to tell a story is always a big bonus
Yeah.
in these.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it feels like the Region 9 IPMS clubs tend to uh, use scale model judging criteria on figures a lot more, and it's been a bit of a source of frustration for some of us
What does
recently.
that mean? What is like when you say scale model judging? What are you
Right.
saying?
So when you're judging ordnance or aircraft or armor or whatever, um, you're looking not just at like the paint. You're looking at the build quality. You're looking at how smoothly it's been put together, whether panel lines are evenly scribed, whether alignments on things are well done. You've got your wings parallel, you've got your landing gear parallel. It's a lot of those kinds of considerations. And then in addition to that, there's some consideration for the painting. Did it go on smooth? Does it look good? Does it read correctly? Strictly speaking, you shouldn't be judging for, is it pristine, like factory finish in automotive versus roughed up, because automotive has tended to lean factory finish traditionally in what's in vogue. That kind
Right.
of thing shouldn't be a consideration, but sometimes it is depending on the judge. And because of that, figure models tend to be judged based off of similar considerations, right? Is it well
Is it
built?
like
Is
more
it
becomes more technical than artistic?
exactly?
Okay.
And I think it's been hurting some of the miniature painters that are more in the gaming side of things. The ReaperCon, LVO, Nova, Adepticon attendees, or the people who attend contests that are judged like that. Where high contrast is quite valued. Heavy use of purple in shadows or use of counterpoint lighting. Those things are considered, really difficult to implement and really cool looking. It seems like they get demerited in a lot of the shows in Region 9. And I had assumed in IPMS in general, and it sounds like that's starting to change in your area, which is awesome.
But it's not because IPMS has changed. It's because they've changed who the judges are.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah,
so,
but that's
you know what I
dude.
mean?
The judges are part of IPMS, right? So in a way, IPMS is changing, at least in your area. Is it changing at a nationals level? Well, maybe not yet, but hopefully we'll get there. We'll see. I mean,
Are you
it's
coming across country next year?
Maybe
Because that's it's only
it's in your
a
area,
couple.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that nationals.
Yeah, I might do it. Come hang out with you guys and then hit it up. We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be great. We'd love to
I'm
have
gonna
you.
cut back a lot of the other travel this coming year, I think. I got to go back and see the folks at some point, and people don't need to be hearing all of this. I've got my screen share up, so this is what I've been working on. I actually finished this before last week's show, but I don't think I pulled up a photo of it last week. So this is, as I am reading off of the Warhammer website, because damned if I know, a Space Marine Impulsor. Impulse. I think it's an Impulsor. I think the Repulsor has a big tank turret on it. So I'm calling it the Impulsor. This is, once again, for the NovaOpen Charitable Foundation, the NOCF. Their upcoming raffle is going to be a full army of Crimson Fists. So this is my little contribution to it. Fully magnetized, all of the options, whether you want missile sponsons or bolter sponsons, whether you want autocannon or hunter killer missiles or whatever they're calling them nowadays, comms or whatever. It's all there. I don't have a photo of the back, but the interior is all painted up as well. A bit of an experiment for me with the enamel washes here. I'm not an enamel wash guy. Shout out to Dan Osborne for jumping on and giving me some tips on that. I think it came out well. Enamel washes are kind of cool, actually. Like, they definitely give you a gritty vibe. I can't imagine having tried it, attempting Blanchitsu without doing it. And I have in the past done Blanchitsu without it, but it's instant Blanchitsu as far as I'm concerned. So that was kind of cool. The other thing that I've been working on recently is some very, very quick paint jobs for player characters for a RPG that I'm playing with some friends. This is the Arkham Horror Tabletop RPG that just released, the Hungering Abyss starter pack. They did a collaboration with Loot Studios for resin figures, and a friend of mine was kind enough to print them all off, and so I've got the player characters for my friends painted up, along with a couple of NPCs that are in the game as well, and then a bunch of bad guys. all of the bad guys. So
Oh damn, that looks good. Those look good,
yeah,
man.
they're very, very quick paints. I've really not been feeling painting recently. It's been quite a struggle to get anything done. But I mean, I think I probably spent 3 hours on the entire set of figures total here. It was just bang them out, airbrush, zenithal, contrast paints, a few touch-ups here and there. Kind of, I'm not gonna say the words, but the style that was a popular term, except I didn't do the dry brushing white highlights as zenithal. But yeah, so that's the other thing I've been doing.
You're saying you did slap nuts?
I definitely am not saying anything around the word slap or chop in any way, shape, or form. But maybe.
So hey, let me ask you a question because you use them a lot more than I do. I don't feel like contrast paints save me any time because I feel like I constantly have to go back and clean up. Like I have to go, like I put one contrast paint on, and I got to make sure I clean up the area next to it, then put another contrast paint on.
You got to
And
work
I
on your
feel
brush
like I'm.
control, my friend. I mean, dude, that's what it comes down to, right? If you're having to do touch-ups between every color, your brush control's not there. You slop a load of the contrast paint on somewhere where it's not going to spill over, and then you spread it from there, taking care on the edges of the thing, right? It's like painting a wall, right? Like you slop it on in the broad areas, and then you kind of get a little bit more precise around the edges.
Did Dan fall asleep on us?
No, I think Dan is trying to figure out what he's going to say about what he's been working on because.
Oh, I know exactly what I've been working on.
And that is
Big ol' zero.
Bupkis. All right.
Yeah. Well, it's not my fault. I had an army put together. So, okay, so it's been many, many years since I have played 40K, and I can't even remember the last time I've done a tournament. I'm sure it's been in the decades. So I'm not going to say I have a whole lot of love for the 40K game experience itself, but I do empathize with those folks that put their armies together to find that a codex may have changed in the last couple of weeks or so, and your army is invalid. Because getting ready for my tournament, I used the actual army, very cannon heavy, 100% cannon, and my it didn't pass. It didn't pass the sniff test there. So it was totally invalid, illegal army. So I had to recreate my army, and I worked on that a little bit today. I was gonna, because it finally stopped raining out here on the East Coast. So we're getting ready to go out and do some priming with my rattle cans, and nope, couldn't do it. I had to try to get my army fixed, and so yeah, putting armies together for tournaments kind of sucks.
40K?
No, my BattleTech army. I was just using 40K as an example because there's lots of times when they have a change in their codexes that will invalidate an army or a unit or a weapon. So I'm just saying I empathize with those guys because it can be a colossal pain in the ass. Even though my book here hasn't changed since, let's see, when is it? 1994.
There we go.
It's still valid. It's just that it's so old, and the system they use now to validate armies and to check your alignments and forces, it doesn't have such a niche army in there, so it kind of like screwed me up a little bit. But I think I have it ironed out. So hobbying, yes, but not painting. And I'm getting back into my audio stuff, so I might be working on my new stereo or my new headset hookups or something like that. So So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Lots of hobby stuff, just not painting. Whatever, man. Whatever.
It was
Um,
the sad horn.
it was a sad one. No painting. No painting for Dan. Um, cool. But you still gonna get your army done and ready to go for the tourney then?
Yes. So if you guys haven't seen, I actually I don't watch a lot of Twitch streams, and I just don't have time to do it. But last night, was it last night or the night before, I watched Monument. So Jason was on and he was talking about his new spray paints or rattle cans, and I was quite curious about that. And if you guys have a chance, I don't know where you can see some of his old stuff, but he has examples of his new rattle can spray paints, and of course they're going to be good because I think he makes some good quality stuff. And he actually talked about the part of how it's created, but we were joking around last week about how my guys are going to be gray, so I might as well just put a matte varnish. So he actually has a 3D print of the little NovaOpen or the little fire salamander that we have, the texture trainers that he's creating, and he put a matte varnish on it, and it came out exactly how I would want my guys to come out. It was pretty funny that I was like, oh, I actually could just use the clear varnish and not have to actually paint them. But
I thought you were gonna buy that noosh, whatever that noosh stuff is, and just paint them one color and slap them with noosh and then be done.
No,
Whatever
I'm
it
just
is.
gonna I just might just put the varnish on it and just do a little bit of highlighting and shadows on there and see how it comes out. I have some decals, but I still have a minimum of 3 colors, so I gotta try to figure out exactly like if my decals are
Canopies,
black
man.
and what's that?
Canopies.
I
You're
can
crazy
get
on the canopies.
I can get 2 colors on my canopy. It's probably gonna be purple and blue again, since that's how all of mine are, and then gray with everything else. So that'd be my 3 colors. So I'll be legal. Even my decals are black. So it's just, well, that might be a 4th color. So yeah, that's where I'm at hobby wise right now.
Nice. Well, I hear you guys at least made an appearance at NovaOpen, so tell us all about it.
Well, Mike made an appearance just for a couple minutes. Some of us had to work. I would have put Mike to work, but he decided he wanted to go somewhere else. So
That whole dropping a kid off at college thing gets in the way.
Yeah, whatever. That's what airplanes are for.
Really.
So
we've actually had that conversation about putting her stuff in storage at the end of the year and then flying up next year.
Yeah,
we're flying up for Parents Weekend.
Oh, anyways, Parents Weekends are horrible.
Dan, go right ahead.
No, it's all right. So normally, let's see, for Nova, it's now a year-long process on my end. It's a lot of work, a lot of prep and everything like that. But this coming year, I usually start in the spring, and so the biggest thing that we tried to do this year was to go to an app for judging. So that means that we would have to also use that for registration of entries. So that was the first big change that we had to do this year. And the second one was, and those that went to Nova experienced it, were the new cases. I kind of want to tell the story, but I forgot to get clearance to see if I'm allowed to talk about it. But it was kind of funny, but horrible at the same time. All in all, the cases arrived when we arrived, so we didn't have chance to set them up beforehand. And so Tuesday was actually, I think it was Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we were putting the cases together, the cases that were received. And then Thursday or Friday, we received 2 more cases, which were not the exact same, but they were good holdovers to get us through the push of the weekend, because we were expecting quite a few entries this year, and we did receive as many entries as we were expecting. We're pretty close to it, so we're pretty excited about the growth on that. So let's see. First thing I need to do, well, not the first thing anymore, but I do have to throw out the master of everything, our friend Eric Swinson. So not only is he a satisfactory painter, a decent woodworker, but holy shit, the dude is an electrician. So we got a bag of wires and light bulbs and stuff, and Eric put that shit together and made all those things work. So I'm in awe every time I see this guy and talk to him. I learned something new that he is pretty much an expert at. So definitely kudos to Eric for helping us out, because that was a lifesaver for many, many hours. And I'm sure he missed some of his casual time and hanging out with folks. But I think he gets around enough where he can hang out with all his buddies and friends. Emperor app, I think it was great for judging. Again, we had a little bit of growing pains with a few things. Mainly me communicating to everybody that we need to register early. But that was I'm not going to say a last minute thing, but it was by the time we got it to work, got it up to running, and got everything in place, we didn't have as much time to socialize it with everybody as we wanted to. So hopefully this year we will make sure that we get that out a lot sooner. So go to NovaOpen.com or look at your socials. You'll start seeing all that stuff come out, especially as we start to prep for next year. Let's see. I scheduled for 2 classes. I was going to take a class that I've been wanting to for the last 3 years, and that's on painting mechs with Justin from The Armed Painter, one of the Death Ray design guys. And because said cases were not ready yet, I wasn't going to leave everybody there so I can go learn how to paint. So I did not get to take that class, but I did take a how to photograph class with Christian Schmidt. He's a guy out in California. He's such a fantastic guy. There was a time when I thought that I might be able to teach a class one day, and he showed me that that was not ever going to be possible. So kudos to you guys for being able to teach classes. I will never teach a class. Even if it was how to sit on your couch and be boring, I probably messed that up too.
I mean, procrastination, man.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
It's not, I can't, I would screw that up too.
Did I meet Christian at Adepticon?
You did. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
you did.
He's
has a German guy with like German accent, and
he has a very heavy accent.
Mohawk. Yeah, and incredibly tall. Too fucking tall.
And he's a cool kid. He's a lot of fun to talk with and hang out with.
I don't think he liked me.
Oh well, that's too
German.
bad for
he
you.
Doesn't like anybody.
He doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
It's like every year I see him and he wants up to me. He's like, "Hey Dan, how's it going?" I'm like, "Hi." It's like, okay, now I know your name because I see him like every convention for the last couple of years. So it takes a couple of years for me to remember people's names.
He's a really good guy. Really good guy.
He is, and his photography class was like over the top. I was blown away. It was not hands on, so I'm hoping if anybody's listening, Dan Osborne, that we can get him to teach an on hands class, because it was a great experience just to listen to him talk about it. And he has an extensive background too. It's not like, hey, I'm going to show you how to do this. It was pretty detailed. This is very scientific, as you would imagine, coming from a German. Yeah.
A question on you for that. Was it with your phone or was it with a higher quality?
No,
camera?
he was not. He was talking specifically about professional setups.
Like SLR? Okay.
Yes, it was digital. He didn't even have it with him. He just had a PowerPoint and some quick takes and stuff, and then open questions at the end. But he went through like, what are the important settings that you should try to use, why it works, why it doesn't work. He talked about like lights and reflections, which when you're thinking about photography, unless you're a photographer, that was way over my head. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that kind of stuff. Then he talked about how you would do into post-production. So that was another conversation that we're having. Like, what does he use? What programs does he use? Not to alter the photograph itself, but sometimes you have just little things that you want to clear up. And he was talking about like multiple images and multiple, what was it, focus points
Image
or something.
stacking, focus
Yeah,
stacking.
yeah, that for my old brain, that just blew my mind also. I mean, picking up a paintbrush and licking it blows my mind, but yeah, it was pretty intensive. It was a very cool class. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and he's a cool guy. So just being able to hang out with him and just talk about taking photographs and things was pretty cool. Let's see. 5 bazillion people as we normally have every year. The setup in our area was the same as last year. We had our Capital Palette area. We had Monument Hobbies with Jason and Jordan and Chris, their photographer. He was sitting across from us as we were last year. And we had some new guys, my new bestest buddies from, and get this, guys. So for years and years, we might have seen or heard about Spray Gunner, and they they focus mostly on obscure painting, airbrushes, maybe cars, maybe different types of not necessarily miniature, but hobby painting and sort. So I think we probably all have been there a couple times, but I got a chance to hang out with them for a little bit and talk to them. And they are absolutely fantastic. And they were at awe of how miniature painters, how we concentrate on the details, which is something that they're not familiar with. So talking to them about what they're familiar with and how their world works, I was kind of floored because I didn't understand how big things were supposed to be. So we were looking at painting with airbrushes in a different context. So being able to talk to them about it was a lot of fun, and they learned a lot. I learned a lot. We had a lot of fun. We would always run into each other in places and just have off conversations to find out that the world doesn't need another Dan, but there is another Dan out there. And he's from my hometown, which was fantastic. So we hit it off pretty well. So that was a lot of fun hanging out with them. I also worked with them before the convention also to make a couple items for the swag bags. And that was and working with Uli, their guru at making stencils and stuff was pretty fun. I've had a lot of fun with them, and so that's another wonderful group of people that we get to hang out with. Obviously, our old friends at Game Envy with Kit. Always like to run into him. I didn't try to take much free stuff from him this time, but I did spend a lot of money at his place. I needed to buy the new Lucent lamps. I pushed it off a little too far already, so it's not up yet in my permanent space, but I'll get it up at some point once I reorganize my workspace for all that painting.
A red grass lamp.
I had red grass last year, so it's a new year, new toy. So yeah. So now I have the Lucent, I have the red grass, and I have 14 like other little table lamps that I can either plug in or just use batteries or recharge or just wind up. I got them all. I can use a lighter too and put it with the little magnifying glass thingy. Yeah. So, let's see.
The spray gunner guys are pretty good, actually. I'm a big fan of their battery compressors.
Yes,
because they're basically the same as all of the Chinese ones, but because they will buy them in, they'll actually test them out and make sure that they're decent quality before they.
Yeah, so they had which was really neat. There's, if you've gone to any of the larger conventions, you guys have seen where they've set up a big wall, and they have the little portable airbrushes, the compressors, and they have all of their airbrushes that they hold. Well, most of them, majority of them. So if you really wanted to try one out, you could try it out. So like, hey, there's the new Ultra one, so let me go get that, or the Harder and Steenbeck. I want to try this one out, or the Iwata. You can just plug those into the little brushes, and you can give them a try, to an extent. And I think that was a fun experience for people, because they're always packed. People are able to ask questions. You go back behind there and you can talk about stuff. You can buy some of the items from them. They had every kind of airbrush. They had a lot of compressors. The little handheld one, which is pretty cool. And the larger ones also. So I needed to pick up a new compressor. So I did pick up one with a tank. My original one was one with a tank, and then I went with the smaller Badger that did not have a tank. And the way that I've been using the airbrushing, I can see the splatter, or not necessarily splatter, but how the pressure goes down after you use it too much, and then the little engine has to try to get up the hill. But I wanted to try and get away from that a little bit, so I got one with a tank on it to see how that runs, and it's sitting right next to my Lucent lamp.
Hey, can we get a chat check? And a participant
Yeah,
check?
there is Sneaky Pete said something a while back. He's
Yeah.
like, "How's everybody doing tonight?" And
Hey,
that
Sneaky Pete. We found
we
Pete.
do. Not sure who's on right now, but somebody let us know. So let's see, what else is Dan
How
blabbing
many
about?
how many viewers?
The guys, what?
How many viewers?
One. I don't know how many current we have. We'll worry about that later.
I'm just asking so we can say hi to people.
Hi, everybody. Don't know who's
If
on
you're
there.
in there in the chat, sound off. How you guys doing? Who's all in there? Pete, it's good. Thank you for being with us, man. You're our original hero, Pete. He's been with us all 3 times.
All 3 of them. Oh, I don't know how to tell how many people we have, or who's on.
It should say
we need
number
to.
of people viewing.
We need to set that up. Oh, he's still there. Hope we're not boring you, or me boring you. So let's see. More of our friends, Artist Opus folks, were all there, so it's always good to see them. Good supporter of everything that we do in the art world. Actually, everybody I talked about are supporters of our Harvey community. Let's see.
And a huge shout out to Game Envy and Artist Opus for hooking us up with prizes for the Youth Award this year at Nova.
Yeah, we'll get to that at some point, Mike.
Okay. Well, you said they would support the hobby, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Let's see. I got to spend. What's that, Mike?
Nothing.
What? Okay. I'm just checking. I can't hear you. I mean, I see your mouth moving, but it's not. Yeah. Well, you get your mic fixed.
I mean, I just leave it muted.
I can't. If I could just mute him, I would. But I guess I could. I guuld just click that little button.
I mean, you'd probably mute me as well, but that may not be
I would. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could do that. So let's see. I spent 5 wonderful days with my roommate Dan Osborne. I don't know what else to say about the guy. He's we talk all year round, getting things ready for seminars, getting things ready for the convention itself. Throw ideas at each other. While we're there, we're still doing the same thing. We get to chit chat. He usually front loads a lot of work. So he's super busy right now, so I don't see him very much. I get to chill out a little bit. And then once it's go time, he gets to chill out and he gets to go to all the parties and hang out with people while some of us get to work. But he puts his time in. He puts more than enough time in. I've seen his hours. It's crazy. So yeah, it's always
super
fun.
Organized. Yeah. I actually really admire the way that he runs NovaOpen. If you've ever been an instructor at Nova, he will line everybody up way in advance. He'll make sure all of the details are nailed down. After the show, he'll collect feedback for all of the classes, and he'll do like a kind of breakdown, and for all of your classes, he'll give you all the feedback, and it's amazing. Like, as an instructor, it's super helpful to just get that direct feedback that's being collected en masse. So if students have been taking classes with half a dozen different instructors, it's all compiled in one place, and then he can just break it out for each instructor. Is amazing. Most other conventions, I'll just kind of send off my own feedback requests to get feedback in there. We've got our buddy Dave is just joined. Dave Phillips is on. So hey,
Hi,
Dave.
Dave.
Don't worry if you did miss a bunch of this. We do keep the recordings up after the fact, so you can always just dive back in and watch the first half. But
Yeah, I just
it's
watched
good
it
to
a
have you.
couple times.
But yeah, rack up those numbers for us, please, folks. Also, the like and the subscribe and the comment and the whatever the other gov
Like,
is,
subscribe,
right?
comment, turn on notifications.
Oh yeah, we'll
you're
have to
supposed
figure that out at
smash
some point.
Smashing
You're gonna have to
things, explosions and
Yeah, you're
fireworks. I don't
Oh, is
know.
that what we're supposed to do? Smash the like.
I mean, I'd
buttons and
rather there
things?
weren't fireworks because we're still in fire season out here. But for everybody else, go for
We're a
it.
little damp
When
out
do
here on the
not
East
fire
Coast.
season?
It is always fire season in California. That is what the modern world does for us. It is always fire season.
Are we on? Hey, can you guys see us?
Yeah, they can see us.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I was just looking, and all I could see was the other thing. Let's see. Judging. Boy, I don't. Man, there's so much stuff going on. No, but judging, I think went pretty well. A little longer than normal, but I think we're trying to get used to the new system. Plus, it's just fun just to like chill out and just talk to folks, have dinner. So we do that late at night. The award ceremony, I think it went okay. Always a little bit of hiccups here and there. But we were able to introduce our new perpetual trophy, the Capital Cup, which is a gigantic cup with all of our Best in Show winners' names posted on it. And we'll have that on display from now on at NovaOpen.
Nice.
Let's see.
That's super cool.
Let's see. We had this year was the first year in a very long time that we had sponsored awards, so I'm very excited about that. I know last year we had Monument that did the fan favorite and Best in Show. They did the same thing this year, but we also had Harder and Steenbeck. We're also sponsors of the Best in Category winners, and Army Painter was the sponsor for Best in Divisions this year. That was a new one that we put out. And then we had Spray Gunner, which did the Creative Award. And if you guys get a chance, go to their website or go to their Instagram and take a look at their the trophies or handouts they made. They spray painted those by hand, and I talked to Nestor. I think it's Nestor. About creating it, because it's kind of like this crackled candy on it. It's such a cool technique that he used for this. Take a look at it. It's very impressive. It's even more impressive when you're looking at it in person. But even the pictures of it is pretty darn good. And let's see, what was the other one? Oh, that youth thing. Yeah, we had that youth one. So apparently apparently this is spreading out pretty good. We got 3 wonderful youth painters, and we were able to give them bags of, a bag of goodies to continue on their journeys. I do know, I don't know the kids personally, but I do know of them, and they're fairly young, which was really good. So it was really good to see new youth, new kids coming in to wanting to paint. And there were a lot of kids that entered their first pieces. And I think when you get older and you look at youth, sometimes they're scared, sometimes they're not. And there were so many fearless kids to put their first piece and sit it right next to, a master class or a journeyman who's been painting for a long time. They didn't care. They were just excited to see their piece out there. And that was, being the old grumpy guy that I am, I thought it was pretty cool. And I enjoy seeing that. And I think that is one reason why we want to push a little bit more to try to get the youth more involved. It's not that we want them to get involved. It's just, hey, they're the future. And as us old folks go to scale models after we graduate from these little miniatures, we need the next generation of painters to come online and build up our community. But I think there was one of them that actually, no, I'm not going to say actually as a bad thing, got a silver as a youth. So in the normal capital palette awards, they earned a silver, which is fantastic for youth to make those kind of strides. Lots of new people this year. We've noticed a lot of new artists that are coming in, a lot of our repeat artists coming in. And it's always great to see all the fun things that they put out and share with us. Some we see online, and it's kind of fun to see them in person because it's a drastic difference, no matter how good of a photographer you are, to see something in person. It's great. So I guess that leads us to, well, we have, what else do we need to say about the youth awards? Mike was nice enough to call out the names since I was busy pushing buttons and trying to get the screens to work properly. But we got their names up, and Mike did a good job talking about it real quick about the youth, and lots of rounds of applause for them and for Mike. And then I guess with that, I don't. Go ahead, Mike. You want to share some of your thoughts of your experience there? I mean, it wasn't much. I mean, Mike came in from a long drive, hung out for the day.
Well, it was I was there just to kind of see people quit. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to go Sunday or not, so I went Wednesday night for a few hours, and it was great to really just kind of hang out with the Baltimore crowd, Nick, Aaron, and Dave, Bourbon Brush, Fennec Fox, and I can't think of what Aaron Simmons is whatchamacallit, and Dave's wife was there as well. And so it was nice to hang out with them and see people. I was really surprised. Got to see a bunch of friends really quickly, and the normal 30 seconds of saying hi to Will Hahn, because he's always running. Then our plans changed. We originally were driving back Sunday, so I didn't think I was going to make it. Our plans changed, so we came back Saturday, so I got to spend the day there. It was a lot of fun getting to catch up and see even more people, and sit through the award ceremony and cheer on friends. There's a lot of people that just nailed stuff, like a shout out to a guy named Christian, who'd been working really hard, and he got a best of category in Masters, and it's just amazing to see some of these people's painting skills just blossom. You know what I mean? Like getting to see the Wizard one, Level 12 Wizard by Chris Chung in person was awesome. And of course, the fan favorite was amazing from Chris Serhi.
Do you have that? Do you have that picture up? Can you?
I can bring it up. Did you put it? Was it in the chat? Where did you put it? Admin chat?
It's in our admin chat. Now that everybody knows the secret of where we hide all of our stuff.
So this is. Oh, I got to share my screen, Dirk.
Yep. Why don't you try that, Mike?
Yep. Let me do that first. So this is Majestic, Best in Show by Steven Garcia. And this, I'm going to tell you, this thing, every time I walked by the case, I saw this. Like, without looking. This thing just explodes. You guys there?
Yeah, we're just waiting for you.
Okay. And then, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, Mike. We can hear you. Everybody can hear you, Mike.
Just keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
All right, and this is another pic that Dan sent me. And then this is...
What is that, Mike? Oh.
That's Majestic. And then down here is...
Fan favorite.
Chris Serhi. Yeah. That one, People's Choice. Or fan favorite, or...
Yeah, that would be fan favorite.
wish I'd seen that in person. That looks like such
It's
a
gorgeous.
fun piece just to
It is
explore.
a hell of a lot larger than I thought it was.
It's
I
enormous.
mean, those are each 54 millimeter figures, right? So
Yeah, it's
they're bigger.
Yeah,
bigger than 54. Wow.
yeah, it's a big
Yeah,
piece.
because I have the Rabbit Knight, or yeah, I have that. That's bigger than 54 millimeter.
Wow.
It says 54 millimeter, but it's much bigger. Even to the eyes, it's taller than 54 millimeters. It's an awesome model.
Yeah, well, it's an understatement to say it was well done, but yes.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, and not only that, it's just getting to see so many different styles of pieces to see, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm still one of these days I'm gonna meet Kaha.
Oh,
You
you
still
should.
haven't met her yet?
Kaha's teaching in Vegas starting next year.
Yeah, but I don't go to Vegas.
Well,
Vegas
I mean,
are
you should. It's Kaha.
cheap tickets, man. Cheap tickets in Vegas. You can go to Verco's Vault and you get some classes.
Isn't the whole thing being run by Verco's Vault next year for the painting side?
Well, yeah, that too. But Kaha's doing separate classes at Verco's as well. So if you want to take a weekend class with Kaha in Verco's Vault.
She might be at Adepticon.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I've never met her. But I've seen her work. Of course, is gorgeous, and I know you guys a lot love her as a teacher. And I know Zach, our buddy Zach,
Yeah,
loved her class.
Yeah, it's a fantastic class.
The only thing I want to add is just a few things about the youth award. First off, thank you so much. If you're one of our Patreons listening to this, thank you so much for your support. You have made it possible for us to do it. This year alone, 2024, we've sponsored 3 youth awards at 3 major conventions: KublaCon, ReaperCon, and NovaOpen. And we've also sponsored Best Bust at the National Capital Model Soldier Society. So you all have made it possible for us to do that and fulfill the goal of the podcast, which is celebrating youth artwork and celebrating the community as a whole. And so that's a huge thing. Game Envy, Artist Opus, thank you so much for providing prize support at the NovaOpen for that. They were awesome to do that. We're in conversations to modify some of that in the future, which is in a positive way. Things are looking very good for the State of the Youth Award. It is always really well received. I usually spend at least a good half an hour to an hour with people coming up to me after an award ceremony talking about how important it was and excited. And you know what, the NovaOpen people, the attendees at the award ceremony, they brought it every name, they cheered their asses off for, like the place exploded for the youth, which is what it should be. And so thank you to Owen and the NovaOpen board and Mike Silavia for letting us be a part of that. And of course to the ReaperCon folks, if anybody from Reaper does wind up hearing this, we really appreciate now 2 years in a row being a part of it. And this year you got the prettier of the 2 presenters. Last year you got the old man, this year you got Dev. So that was a bonus for y'all.
Stumbling my way through public speaking, yeah. It was fantastic.
That's all right. You had to do it twice this year. You had to do Kubla, and you did KublaCon and ReaperCon. So by the 3rd time's a charm, right? You start getting really good at it.
I hope so.
But yeah, huge shout out to those people, everybody that was involved with it. Really appreciate it. And of course 3D Samurai Printing, which I don't believe any exists anymore, but they're the ones who sculpted our trophy. And so I haven't heard from Luis in like months. I've been trying to get a hold of him, haven't heard anything. It's kind
I
of
don't know. Maybe he went back home for a little bit and maybe he'll come back. I don't know.
I'm hoping that's what it is. I'm hoping that he's doing a Spain and Germany tour, because he's from Spain and his wife is from Germany, and I know they spend time over the summer. So I'm hoping that's what it is, because I miss him. But I do know that he and his business partner went their separate ways. So I don't think 3D printing Samurai is anymore. But Hey, quick chat check. Let's check the chat.
Dave is just talking about Kaha, and he was talking about the gate on Chris's
Chris
piece
Hayes'
was
piece, yeah.
it was a custom
Yeah.
gate. I wonder if we know who
Did Dave
sculpted that.
sculpt it? Could it have been the one and only Dave Phillips that sculpted it?
I don't know.
I wonder. Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly, Dave mentioned that Kaha's been at Adepticon the last 2 years. Kaha's been doing a lot of cross-Atlantic travel. I mean,
Yes,
Yep.
I've noticed
she
that
hit
also.
LVO, she hit Adepticon, she did a Virko's Vault class, I think. She hit Nova now. It's a lot of travel, and Dave fessed up. Dave may have done the gate for Chris Serhi there.
May or may not, right? That's
But
awesome.
yeah, it's I mean, I'm like I know how much it takes out of you going transatlantic like that. So I'm always excited to see Kaha come over because I just still adore the art that she does. The use of color, the use of contrast is just incredible. So very, very exciting that we're getting to have that that knowledge shared with us over on this side of the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully we get some more of her and some more of those other wonderful artists that we have overseas. Let them share in some of the fun that the United States has for them.
Yeah, Roman, if you're listening, man, we need you back in America, buddy. It's been too long.
Roman the Plot, yes, we've missed him a lot.
Yep.
But him with that, he's got a baby still. The kid's a year old.
Priorities. Dude, you know what? I just need to suck it up. I need to figure out a way of getting over there and doing some classes with him.
Man, I would love to take a class. He's done a lot of classes over there, bigger classes, but even one-on-one for a couple of days would be a blast. That would be
yeah.
That would be.
I can't even imagine. That would be kind of a dream, right? The three of us go to Germany and take a weekend workshop with just the three of us and Roman.
Well, with all of
any
our
Patreons that might want in.
Yeah, I mean, all the patrons that we have, probably by 2098 we might be able to go, maybe. That might be just one of us to be able to go.
No, are you kidding? That'll give us enough money to check a bag.
Probably. Well, I got to buy supplies. Oh, geez. It was my budget.
On the plus side, Dan, I think between Mike smoking and my drinking, you have the best odds of still being in the game in 2098. So there's that.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Dan's got stress, blood pressure issues.
Yeah. Try working for my place.
So, guys, we're just over an hour. Do we want to wrap up or do we want to keep going?
I don't know. We can keep going for a couple more minutes. We have visitors now, so we might as well just keep going and keep them entertained. Hopefully they're painting or sculpting. Maybe Dave is making something cool out there for us.
Yeah, we got 3 concurrent viewers. I think I may be one of them, but we got a couple folks on the cast. Yeah. I think
if you guys want to keep going, I have to take a 5-minute break, but you guys can
Oh
keep
my
going.
Gosh.
Let's wrap it, man.
We'll just wrap it up.
Just typed in. Okay. All right. Well, Sean, all right, just for you, buddy. Mike's gonna run to the restroom. Dan's gonna fill the airwaves. I'm just gonna sit back and relax. Go.
Oh, well, okay. I could just put
Needs to be super high contrast. So
was that Mike talking?
Yeah, it was an invisible man.
Okay, that's fine.
He crawls out of the basement sometimes. Asks for pictures in a very not creepy way. But yeah, Sneaky Pete, get some photos, post them up on the Discord, or
Yeah, we can share them.
post links in the chat. Would be cool to see. Would be cool to see what you're working on with that Fisher Price house. That would be cool to see.
That's a
And
great
Sean apparently
idea.
was at Nova. So do you know who Sean is?
Who you asking?
Dan?
Me?
Well, you're the one who's here, man. It's
Oh, I don't
you and
know.
Dead Air.
I
Okay.
have
All right.
no. I'm horrible at names,
Okay.
so I don't
Fair
know
enough.
any.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
The
even
Sean I know was definitely not at Nova because he was with me at Reaper. So it's not the Sean I was thinking of. So although it may well be that I have also met you, Sean, and I've forgotten, in which case I'm sorry.
No, I've probably met them all. I just don't remember. It's not your fault, guys. It's just because I only have like one working brain cell, and half of that is asleep most of the time. So
It's mostly dedicated on how to assemble display cases at this point.
that and how to just walk around aimlessly, looking like I'm doing something important, and I'm not.
That is a useful career trick, has to be said.
That's
Walking around looking busy. Yeah.
Well, that's what the federal government has done for me. That is the one bonus for working for the Fed. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah. Dave validating that Dan really is terrible at names. It's true.
Oh, that's right. Sean is the guy who wants to play BattleTech, I think, and he's from Fredericksburg, right?
Okay.
Oh, and I apologize that you had to do the Army, but at least you retired from the Army.
You're free now, man. You're free now.
You are free, but it never goes away. And you've probably heard that. Oh, so he's an East Coaster now. All right, cool. I guess we'll have to have a talk. Let's see. There's a swap meet this weekend at Game Garrison. You can meet me there. I'm supposed to be there. I would say that to Mike, but Mike is occupied right now.
AWOL.
Yeah, I got to get rid of a lot of plastic. Oh, of course you liked it.
As promised, there is a link to the Discord for the folks who are not on it.
Did you put that on there?
I did.
Oh, okay. So okay.
Man, we've got a lot of forces representation here.
Well, it's the Army, so that's like a quarter of a force.
Sure. I mean, it's still a subset, right?
It is.
It is
the military. Yeah. They might be the largest, but that's all right. Oh, okay, cool. You're looking for display minis? You're not going to find display minis, but you can come along anyway. You might get lucky. I might have quite a few things to get rid of, and they might be considered display. Probably not. Most of mine are going to be Space Marines I'm trying to get rid of. Like one of 4,000 of them I have. That are other games that I have acquired over the decades that I'm trying to get rid of.
Display minis at this point is kind of interesting to me because I almost feel like the genre is kind of dead, because if you're wanting a larger piece, if you're wanting a piece like that, at this point you just get an STL and print it.
Yeah, it does seem like that. And I noticed that unless you're looking for really pristine, like I don't want to say 3D printed ones aren't good. They are good pieces. They are nice. But there's just a different quality when you have like a nice resin pour or something that was sculpted by hand.
There is something beautiful. Well, I mean,
yes.
That's the other thing, is that even if you get the Ignis art pieces are gorgeous, right? Like that's always my thought when you want beautiful display miniatures. I think Ignis, and even those are digitally sculpted, right? They're not hand sculpted. So, finding hand-sculpted, hand-cast resin pieces these days, I think they're few and far between.
Probably. I think it's probably just cheaper and easier just to be able to 3D print something and then just cast it.
And honestly, I think it's quicker to 3D sculpt than to physically sculpt. There's no waiting for materials to harden to do the next layer and stuff.
True.
So.
Well, we got a sculptor on the in Dave.
I know, he's talking. You should.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Dave is only on here to pimp his 3D printing or his 3D sculpting, which you should check out because it is pretty fucking boss. But yeah, Dave does do the 3D sculpting. I think Dave, you used to do physical sculpting as well, right? Before, I seem to remember us having that conversation in Adepticon.
I
I
don't
mean,
talk to
it
Dave.
makes it's. I honestly, I think that like my I feel the 3D sculpting is fine. Like you can get plenty of character into a 3D sculpt. You can do what you want to do. Bad 3D sculpt or mediocre 3D sculpt looks too perfect and too pristine, and it loses the mediocre hand sculpted at least has that tactility of the actual impressions of what's sculpted. And it loses a bit of that personality in mediocre 3D sculpting, but high-end 3D sculpting still has that. I feel like, you know, Ignis is my go-to, right? Like they're one of the few display print companies where I really love, love the sculpts and really get like in, enthusiastic about them. Um, I don't know. I mean, I feel like 3D printing you can get almost as good quality now as well, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think we're getting there. Mike, I've seen Mike's prints and they come out fantastic. And then what was I looking at? Some dude today was printing with the filament stuff. Was it FDM or FDS? I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
can't remember.
FDM's
And
still not as good, but it's
I
also
couldn't
improved like the new
I couldn't
bamboo.
believe how freaking incredible those prints were. I mean, they're not resin, but holy crap, they're really, really good. And we know the resin ones are coming out fantastic
Yeah.
nowadays.
Dave is saying that he's going to learn clay. Dave, when you start doing clay sculpts, I want pics, and I'll probably want casts of them because I'm looking forward to that. I'd love to see what you do in clay. But also, he points out that there is stuff you can do in 3D sculpts to help bring that natural element to them. So, I mean, it's always a bit of a risk. I think that's one of the main things, right? If you've got pristine, perfect 3D sculpt, you've kind of achieved what a lot of physical sculptors were aiming for in that perfection, right? And taking that and then doing the inverse, right, which is what I feel like you kind of have to do, right? You said, David, it's an extra step, right, to take it from that perfection back to something that's got that personality to it. It feels like it's a risky move, and I can see why people don't do it, but I think it does give a bit more charm to a piece when it's done.
Yeah,
Sean is saying that I think he's talking about a bunch of display pieces that he saw in Italy.
yeah.
Stores having loads of them. Partly, I think, because Fair is there, FER Miniatures is there, and they have a lot of presence in Italy. There's also some Spanish companies as well that have pretty good distribution in Europe. But also, he picked up. Oops. Oh yeah, also Mirror. Neko Galaxy.
Italian company.
Yeah. So it's yeah. I mean, Neko Galaxy stuff that he picked up at Nova along with a troll bust. Love to see what the photo of the troll bust is because I can't think of any
Yeah, I
troll
can't
bust.
remember what they had. I'm sure they'll be at Adepticon with what's the name of that company? Oh shoot.
Is Mindworks whatchamacallit?
Mindworks, that's one.
I don't know whether they're Spanish or not, where Mindworks is based out of. I'd have to look it up. But I love their stuff too.
Yeah, Mindworks is Italian as well. Did not realize that.
Yeah.
I thought they were Polish for some reason.
No, their stuff is just fabuloso too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's interesting too, because now I think that's one of the things that's kind of an evolution in the hobby is that the dawn of digital sculpting, we're getting more variety in models, and so you do get things like you have kind of that Spinabalist does trolls and goblins, and so I'm saying they're wrong, or Spiralis or something along those lines.
Spimabilis.
But you know who I'm talking. I think you
Yeah.
guys know who I'm talking about. And then you have kind of a more of a grim or dark with like kind of mind work games. Kind of has that darker feel to it. But then you also go over to like Ouroboros Miniatures, and they have things like the normal, you know, the Everyday Woman line. And so you're getting a lot of different. You're getting so much more variety now, and I'm sure part of that is also the nature of the hobby is growing. Um, and more variety is out there. And I'm not even talking like, you know, the world of like digitally sculpted gaming miniatures. Just digitally, like you're getting a lot of like Gollum miniatures. They have another Kickstarter out for kids in art. And that's, you might want to check that out, Dev, too, because that might be something you're interested in. Basically, they take paintings, two-dimensional paintings, and create miniatures out of them, and they've done like 6 or 7 of them at least. I backed 2 of their campaigns for models, and they're taking those masters classics and turning them into artwork, turning them into miniatures. And so such a, while clay sculpting to me is gorgeous, and I bought this tiger by Ivan Mata that was, it was something I've been looking for years, and found it on a Kickstarter, and it was hand sculpted and then cast, which was amazing. The digital sculpting almost seems, because of the nature of what you can do, like it seems more accessible, so more people seem to be getting into digital sculpting than they, let's say, the traditional style of clay. Although of course, you know, I love me a good old-fashioned clay model, but it just, because it just seems like you can do it on a tablet, you know what I mean? You can probably sculpt on your phone. I would imagine there's an app for that, you know. And so you can't, it's really hard to go travel with your clay model, you know. And so, you know, but I don't know. And yeah, I think that's you know, the interesting thing, Dan, is you were saying about my prints, and I had I had my Sonic Frozen is kicking on all cylinders as far as like getting all the settings right and everything, and getting some just absolutely great prints on a 4K. But I see the difference in the 12K prints. You know what I mean? Like I definitely do see the difference in the quality, and maybe some of that is the resin too, like because it is using a different resin than the 4K resin, but
yeah, I mean the
yeah,
12 the resolution on 12Ks is insane. Those
well, you
miniatures that
saw
I
the girl with the fox was a 12K print that I sent you,
yeah, yeah, I mean it's
and that came
crazy.
out.
You can't even
Yeah,
tell it's 3D printed. Basically, it's
yeah.
pretty much impossible.
Well, crap. I guess I have to
Yeah,
buy a new one then.
Man, that 12, you know, they released the new Mars, and
Yeah, I know
that's, you know,
the 5 Ultra or something, I think, is when it just came out. Um,
yeah, and that's still, I mean, it's not badly, none of them are badly priced yet, you know, because they
no, they're
will in a
not.
year be in the
Well, when Christmas comes out, they'll have, there'll be a good sale coming up here
Black
pretty
Friday.
soon. So maybe I'll have to grab one. So, hey, there might be a Mars 3 Ultra on the market soon. I've been lucky enough that people that
See,
want to
I'm not going to get rid of
start.
my Sonic 4K.
What's that?
I'm still using it. Like when I just printed a bunch of basing material, I printed it off on that instead of the 12K.
Oh, I would just print it on
So
12K. It can be so much faster and do more of it. I don't
is
have
it
the room for
faster?
that.
oh,
Because
I
you're
didn't
doing
use
more layers, right? On a 12K.
Yeah, but the lights I
it.
think are a little different though, right?
What?
Aren't the lights a little different so it can do it a little faster?
It is a little bit faster. I don't know. I just had everything already. Like that's one of the nice things about it. I have all the sliced files ready to go, and so I can just kind of, I don't even have to go through Chitubox or anything. I have them all on a thumb drive, and I just plop it in and then pick what I want, and set it, set it. I'll do, although I forgot to level the 4K. I'm so used to not having the level on the Ultra, on the
Oh, that's a
Saturn 4.
automatic. That does it automatically, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh yeah. And like, I've done stupid stuff like, so you put the build plate in, it's a clip that holds it in for the Saturn 4, and I've forgotten to like clip it. I've just like slid the build plate on, and then it'll start printing, and weird stuff happens. For the when I just ran the Frozen, totally forgot to level it. Now, fortunately, nothing happened. Like the print worked. I was like, I totally didn't level this, because I'm so used to just the plug and play and go. But
Have either of you guys messed around with the new filament ones, like the bamboo
I saw it at
P1P or
Adepticon.
whatever?
It was moving so fast. Like that
Yeah,
that one
that
that
thing was
I was
hauling
like,
ass. I was very surprised at
yeah.
how fast it is. Mine is like ancient. I don't. It's not even that old. I don't even know who does it. Forge something Forge. Um, it's so
Right. And
freaking.
somebody just gave that to you, right?
Yeah, we won't say who or what gave it to us. But it's really slow, and I think it's just my settings. I'm sure that if I spent a lot of time and calibrated it and did some stuff, it would be a much faster and do much better prints. The prints are okay. They're good for like making like stands or just things you're not gonna really look at. Nothing for display, just for holding tools or just everyday like knick-knack kind of things. Um,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't use
I
it for any
should
kind of
totally
display.
give you the files for that Mini Masterworks carrying case.
I
That
probably can print some.
that
It would take me like a full freaking year to print it though. It would take so long to print because it's just so slow.
You see, I want to print some really big ass terrain pieces, but in a quality where they're still going to look good painted, and that's kind of why I'm starting to be tempted by one of the new bamboos, because apparently they're also super reliable, right? Because
Mhm.
calibration on the FDMs has always been a lot harder and more awkward than the resin jobs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to worry about the temperatures and I think that's where part of my problems are coming in, and just
Yeah.
the speed. And all it takes is one little hiccup for it to like get off track, and then it messes things up. But at the same time, I've had it run out of filament and restart in the middle and do much better than a resin would, because resin would just be a mess to have to
not
restart.
anymore. Not in the Saturn
Well,
4.
maybe, well, yeah, not with your big fancy one, I guess, but with my old school one, hell no, I would
Oh
never
no,
do
with the
that.
Frozen it would screw it up. With the Sonic 4K, it would, but it's specifically designed. That was one of the new quality of life features that they did. So, we had a power outage and it was in the middle of a print job and it lasted about 30 minutes, and then when the power came back on, it just went back to printing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a little bit on one of the pieces, there was a line kind of in it,
Hmm.
but I mean, little sandpaper, a little bit of putty. That wasn't
Exactly.
a
Yeah.
big issue. But one thing I'll say too is that, so I don't know if you remember me, I was complaining about, I had bought resin off of Amazon called like One Pang, and it was
Hmm.
cheap. It was only $16, and I was like, I'll give this a try. Couldn't get a damn thing to print except for calibration tests on the 4K. Um, Said what the hell, gave it a shot, put it in the 12K printer. Didn't change a single setting. Used the factory settings from the printer. 100% quality. Man, that stuff was great.
Interesting.
So it was just, I think, I looked at it, and when I poured it out, and then I looked at what the normal 4K resin, because I had been using either the aqua gray 4K from Frozen, which works perfectly every time, right? Um, and I like the resin; it's a good resin. You've seen the Max that I printed that you saw, Dan.
Hmm.
That is the Sonic 4K. That's the 4K aqua resin, but there's a bit the one pang and the Elegoo Mars version 2 of their resin, which is what the girl and the fox I printed for you, Deb, is printed in the blue. Uh, the whatchamacallit, the 4K resin is so much thicker than the Elegoo and the one pang resin, and I think that it was a viscosity issue, for lack of a better terms, with the 4K and that. Because like I also use Sunlu Labs 4K resin in the frozen with no problem too.
Yeah.
So apparently we're a
Alrighty.
3D printing podcast now.
Yeah.
Apparently now, yeah. Which, as I don't actually own a 3D printer, is going to be awkward for me. I'll just be the novice guy, right? That asks all the questions. I'm the prompt, right?
Yeah, there you go.
You're the one who now the reason why you don't have a 3D printer is because you felt it made your beer taste funny.
This
And
is true.
so
Yeah, for the audience that doesn't already know this is 100% true. I got rid of my 3D printer because the beer I was having after I finished up with 3D printing and scrubbed my hands and everything, beer still tasted funny, and that's just not acceptable in my life. So the printer had to go.
Well, when you
'Cause it
move,
wasn't the
then
beer
you'll
that had
have a new, you might have an extra spare room somewhere where you can print and not have to drink your beer in the same place.
Well, you
Oh,
have two
dude.
properties on.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah,
This is the thing. The printer was in an entirely different building. I was wearing gloves. I was like scrubbing my hands. Like I was doing everything, and I could still taste like it just fucked with my taste buds in between, like afterwards. Just not cool. Not cool.
What's that? It's like those people that think cilantro tastes like, half the people think cilantro tastes like soap or something. Maybe that's what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
There's a gene.
Poor people.
It's just like the
Old
asparagus
people.
gene.
I mean, I love cilantro, right? Like it's a super
too.
common condiment in Indian cooking. So, like it would really kill me if I couldn't enjoy cilantro.
Same here. I love cilantro. Use it in. Yep. It's a condiment in our house.
Yep.
Because we use it for everything. Tacos, pho, or when we make ramen, I marinate, there's a flank steak recipe that I use that the marinade has a shitload of cilantro on it. So whoever has that dish soap one would hate my cooking.
All right, folks. Well, we've gone like 90 minutes, which is pretty normal for us when we get going.
Yeah, we should start talking and.
But thank you all for joining us, and we will be back next week with another episode on some topic. I think we discussed it in advance. Don't remember what it is now. Possibly a spicy topic if it's the one I'm thinking it is.
Oh, I have no idea what it is. I was going to think it was me, Mike's turn to talk about his conventions over the summer. So
his convention at university. Yeah. Saying farewell.
Oh, no, I went. Dan and I were at the NCMSS show the next week after NovaOpen.
We can't talk an hour about that. No.
No.
Not at all.
No, I was just getting over COVID, so.
Oh, that's right. You tested COVID then too. Yeah, that's right. And you passed it on.
Oh no,
to me,
I didn't just
think.
test. I was sick, and this is the second time I'd had it. The first time I was asymptomatic. This time I was not asymptomatic.
It sucks.
Yep. But if you guys get the opportunity, like, subscribe, follow. We'd really appreciate it, either here and in the podcast feed. We have all of our social media links are down below in the description. You should be able to follow there. Anything that you can do to help grow the show, we really appreciate it. And of course, we love all of our listeners and now our viewers as well. So yeah, smash some buttons, please. That would be nice.
Lots of buttons. Yeah.
Lots of buttons.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you all very much for. Hopefully you're entertained, and hopefully we get to see y'all next week. Don't be strangers don't be shy. Go ahead and throw some stuff in the chat when we're all talking, and we'll talk to you since we're tired of talking to each other.
And Pete, we want to see those pics of that haunted house.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next.
Yep.
Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll talk about terrain next week.
Ooh, it's a good topic.
We can talk about terrain.
Maybe. I don't know.
For me, it would
probably
just be
stupid.
basing because I don't really do terrain. But
Yeah, exactly. That's what it would be.
you're
Just
right.
dry brush,
Game.
super glue, and sand, and dry brush, and I'll be good to go. That's my terrain. That's my terrain training for the day. All right.
I just go through the recycling bin and throw shit on the table.
Yeah. Sean, hopefully I get to see you this weekend. I'm going to try very hard to make it this weekend because Mike, you were gone. Game Garrison has a swap meet this weekend, so I will be once again trying to get rid of a bunch of shit.
Is that Saturday?
Yes, it is. It starts at 10 o'clock, and then there's a Greek festival also.
Okay,
So if you want to get some good food,
I'm going to be down there on Sunday too. So.
Oh darn, that's a shame. It's only one day.
Yeah.
Hey, the festival is going on for 2 days, so you can stop off of there too if you want. It's right around the corner. It's only 5 minutes away.
Mother-in-law's birthday, so yeah, I'll be.
Sunday
is kind of a.
Yeah, I understand. I understand your birthdays.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you guys show up on Saturday and you can just stay. Oh no, you have your dogs, so you have to take care of your dogs. That's a lot of driving.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't see you on Saturday then.
I'm actually gonna talk to my wife because I have some new things that I want to get rid of too.
I have a bunch of old things I want to get rid of.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you all very much for being a part of the show, and have a good night.
Yep. See ya.